What if everything you've been told about success is a lie? What if the greatest secrets to wealth aren't hidden in spreadsheets or boardrooms, but in the subtle, almost invisible decisions that few ever notice? For years, the world's most powerful companies have grown by tapping into strategies so deep, so cryptic, that only a handful of minds can even begin to comprehend them. Jeff Bezos, Amazon's visionary, holds the keys to these hidden realms. But what if the real genius behind his empire isn't what you think it is? What if the game isn't played with money, but with something far more valuable, far more elusive? In every move Bezos made, there was an unseen dance, an investment not just of resources, but of time, vision, and something deeper. Trust. Trust in chaos. Trust in systems that others would call madness. His fortune wasn't just built on selling books or streaming movies. It was shaped by an almost alchemical approach to risk, an understanding of timing that goes beyond logic. What if the greatest risk you could take was simply believing in something before the world had the evidence to support it? What if success was a matter of stepping into the unknown before anyone else? But here's the catch. These strategies aren't meant for everyone. They're not for the faint of heart or the followers of conventional wisdom. They are for those willing to walk the razor-thin line between brilliance and insanity. Bezos didn't just disrupt industries. He rewired how we think about risk, power, and time itself. It's a formula so potent, so deceptively simple, that it's almost impossible to see, unless you understand the game he's playing. And here's the kicker. Once you realize it, you'll wonder why no one ever told you this before. Every dollar, every decision, every moment is part of a carefully constructed web, one where the rules aren't just bent, they're broken. And while the world praises his wealth, few ever notice the deeper strategy lurking behind Amazon's meteoric rise. Could it be that Bezos isn't just a businessman? Could it be that he's playing a different game altogether, one that has nothing to do with what we think of as wealth? The truth is buried deep, hidden beneath layers of success and failure, and the only way to find it is by following the invisible trail he left behind. The question now is, are you ready to uncover the secret, to walk the same path Bezos took, to see the world not as it is, but as it could be? As you watch this, think carefully. Every second you hesitate is another second where the secret slips further away. The strategies that made Amazon a dominant force in the world are closer than you think, but only if you're willing to go beyond the surface and look into the abyss. From the depths of your soul, a question begins to echo. What would you do if you knew the truth you're searching for is just one step away from illusion? The weight of this doubt is like an invisible chain, pulling you toward a place you never imagined you'd go, yet at the same time you can't help but follow. What happens when the story you've told yourself about the world, about success, about the rules you live by, crumbles before your eyes? Bezos didn't just ask himself this. He went further. He embodied this doubt, letting it shape every decision, every move. The obsession with the truth, the one nobody dares to face, is what led him to build the empire that is Amazon. But what if you too were willing to shatter your own certainties? What if the real story wasn't about selling books or building a store that everyone could shop in from home, but about something deeper, something hidden within the quiet crevices of the mind? Bezos understood that, at the heart of every great success, there's an unseen force, the invisible architecture of the mind that guides every step. It's not the product that makes a company great. It's not the idea. It's the unseen belief that everything is possible, even when there's nothing but emptiness before you. Can you feel it? That quiet tension, as if something unspoken is shifting beneath the surface of your thoughts? That's where the real power lies. And yet, as you feel this shift, you also begin to realize the most dangerous question of all. What if success is not a path you walk, but a path you create by daring to look where others will not? Bezos wasn't just stepping into the unknown. He was becoming the unknown itself. He didn't follow the trends of the time. He ignored the rules and created his own. But here's the unsettling truth. This path is not for everyone. It's for those who are willing to risk their minds, their worlds, and most terrifying of all, their self-perception. Are you one of those few? You can already feel the pull of this truth, can't you? A truth that feels almost too real, too dangerous to confront. There's a magnetic force here, an attraction to something that exists beyond the visible, beyond the conventional. Bezos understood that this power comes from making impossible choices, the kind that tear apart the world you think you know. And as you lean closer to the edge of this revelation, you feel it, the subtle tremor of something profound about to unfold. What if this secret is not only the key to Amazon's dominance but to your own awakening? This is where the journey begins, the part that others are too afraid to enter. The part where everything you thought you knew begins to slip through your fingers. You start to realize that the game you've been playing is only a fraction of the truth. Bezos didn't just find success, he found something more primal, more essential to human nature. The real question is, can you find it too? Will you dare to look deeper, or will you remain safely in the world of certainty, never knowing what could have been? There's a silence that hangs heavy in the air, a silence that speaks louder than any answer could. What if the greatest trick in business isn't selling a product, but selling belief? Bezos understood this profound truth long before the rest of the world caught on. Behind every Amazon decision, there was not just a market analysis, not just a product, but a deliberate act of shifting reality. And as you start to grasp this, you realize that everything you've been taught about success, about strategies, about planning, is a distraction. Because in the quiet moments when the noise of the world fades, the real question is, who do you believe you are? The truth, hidden in plain sight, is that the game was never about business. It was about perception. Bezos built Amazon not just with products and services, but with an invisible architecture of belief. The people around him didn't follow Amazon because of the prices or the convenience. They followed because somehow they believed. And belief is not something you can touch or measure or see. It exists in the spaces between words, in the way the world bends and shifts when you trust in something larger than yourself. Have you ever felt that force, that pull of conviction, even when the world around you says you're wrong? Here's the unsettling part. This force is not a choice. It's a revelation. It hits you, unannounced, when you least expect it, and when it does, you realize that you've been part of the game all along, even though you never truly understood it. Bezos didn't just create Amazon. He created an experience that entered people's minds and hearts before they even realized what was happening. What if you've been living your life based on beliefs that were never yours to begin with? What if the rules that govern your world are not as fixed as you've been led to believe? You're already starting to feel the shift, aren't you? The unease that comes from realizing that you've been playing by someone else's script. You've been living inside a framework, but Bezos, he shattered that framework. He didn't just break the rules, he redefined the game itself. What if the true power lies not in following the rules, but in creating new ones entirely, in building a world where you are the architect and everything else is secondary? But can you even begin to fathom that level of power? Or is it too frightening to accept? The pressure builds now, doesn't it? The tension is thick, as if something huge is just about to break through. But here's the catch. Once you see it, once you understand this hidden truth, there's no going back. The world won't be the same for you. And Bezos knew this. He knew that once you start down this path, there's no return to the safety of the old rules, the old ways of thinking. The question is, are you ready for that kind of transformation? Or are you still afraid of stepping into a world where belief becomes your most dangerous weapon? There's a moment, a heartbeat, where everything you thought you knew begins to crumble. It's almost imperceptible, like a crack in the glass of your perception. What if success is not about reaching the top, but about seeing the world in a way that others cannot? Bezos saw it. The invisible threads, the patterns others overlooked. He didn't climb to the top because he was smarter or worked harder. He rose because he understood something no one else could. That true power lies not in what you create, but in what you perceive. And that perception, once it shifts, becomes a force that reshapes everything around you. Imagine standing on the edge of the unknown, looking into an abyss where no map exists, no guide to show you the way. What if stepping into that abyss is the only way to truly understand the world? Bezos didn't take calculated risks. He took risks that obliterated the very concept of risk. When everyone else saw a barrier, he saw a doorway, an opportunity to leap into the void and transform the impossible into the inevitable. Can you dare to do the same? To throw away the comfort of certainty and embrace the raw, chaotic beauty of unknown possibilities. As the tension builds inside you, something begins to shift, almost imperceptibly, like a door unlocking deep within. What if the greatest power you could possess is the courage to act before the world sees the truth? Bezos knew this power. He understood that the most dangerous thing in the world is the fear of not being seen, of not being understood. He took that fear and turned it into the fuel for Amazon's rise. And in doing so, he proved something essential. The moment you embrace your own vision, the world will follow, even if it doesn't yet know where it's going. But do you have the courage to step into that vision? To see what no one else sees and move toward it, no matter the cost? The question echoes now, louder and louder in your chest. How many times have you seen the world only for what it is, instead of what it could be? Bezos didn't just create an empire, he shattered the rules of perception. He understood that the key to dominance wasn't in what was obvious, but in what was hidden beneath the surface. What if the real secrets to success don't lie in the strategy itself, but in the ability to shift your perception of reality, to look at the same problem and see infinite possibilities while others remain blind? And as this realization settles into your mind, you feel it. A shift within, a deep, almost primal recognition that something within you is stirring, waking up. You're beginning to see the world differently now, aren't you? You feel the weight of the truth that Bezos knew, the weight of stepping into the unknown without looking back. It's terrifying, but there's something intoxicating about it, something deeply magnetic about this freedom to rewrite the rules. Are you ready to make that leap, or will you remain in the safety of what you already know, forever wondering what might have been? Now, the tension inside you has reached a boiling point. What if everything you've been chasing, your dreams, your desires, your so-called success, was never the point? What if the very idea of reaching the top was just another illusion designed to keep you from seeing the truth that lies beneath? Bezos didn't build an empire because he was obsessed with wealth or fame. He was obsessed with something far more intangible, far more powerful. He was obsessed with transformation. He understood that to truly dominate the world, you must first dominate your own reality. And to do that, you must be willing to step into the fire, to face the part of yourself that you've always kept hidden, and to emerge from it reborn. But can you do that? Or will you hold on to the version of yourself that feels safe, even if it's suffocating you? As the fog of this realization begins to clear, you start to feel it, the burning desire to step out of the shadows and claim something for yourself. But what if that desire is not about gaining anything at all? What if the real freedom lies in letting go of the safety, the certainty, the rules you've clung to for so long, and stepping into a world where anything is possible? Bezos didn't just take calculated risks. He burned down the very concept of calculation and replaced it with pure, unfiltered intuition. He created Amazon by trusting his vision above everything else. And in doing so, he showed the world that true power comes from surrendering to the unknown. You feel the shift now, don't you? The weight of that truth settles in your bones, creeping into your very soul. The world you once knew is starting to fade, and in its place something new, something untamed begins to emerge. What if this is what you've been waiting for all along? That moment when you stop seeking answers, stop looking for permission, and simply step into the unknown, trusting yourself above all else. Bezos didn't wait for the world to tell him what was possible. He carved his own path regardless of the consequences. And now you stand at the same threshold, staring into the abyss of your own transformation. But as you face this moment, a question lingers, heavier than all the others. What if everything you've been taught about success was just a trap? A trap to keep you playing small, to keep you locked in the endless cycle of striving without ever truly arriving. Bezos escaped this trap, and in doing so, he unlocked something that can never be taken away, the ability to see the world as it could be, not as it is. And now, you stand at the edge, ready to take that leap. But will you? Or will you retreat into the safety of the familiar, forever wondering what might have been? There's no turning back now. You've felt it, the pull of something deeper, something far beyond the surface. The question that started this journey, the question you could never quite answer, now stands before you, clear and unavoidable. Are you ready to unlock your own Amazon? To step beyond everything you know, to trust in something greater than yourself, and to transform everything in your life in the process? The answer lies within you now. The question is, will you say yes? And now, here you are, at the crossroads, where everything you've learned has led you to this single, defining moment. The world is no longer what it was before. You stand at the precipice of a new reality, where the rules are yours to create, and the power is yours to command. You felt the tension, the pull of what's been hidden all this time. But now, the choice is yours. You can turn back. You can remain in the comfort of what you know, continue to follow the predictable path, playing by the world's rules, or you can embrace the uncertainty of becoming who you were always meant to be. This is the secret. This is what Jeff Bezos understood. Success is not about following the path others have laid before you. It's about creating your own path, one that others will follow, not because it's easy, but because it's the only truth worth believing. Amazon wasn't built on products alone. It was built on the belief that there was something larger than what the world had seen. And now, as you stand on this edge, you see it too, the infinite possibilities that stretch before you. Are you ready to step into your power? To stop waiting for permission, for validation, for anyone to tell you that you're worthy? You are ready. The question is, will you act on it? Will you rise to meet the unknown, as Bezos did? Or will you shrink back, forever wondering what could have been? The door is open now. It's up to you to walk through it. And now, the air feels different, doesn't it? The world around you has shifted. The shadows of doubt and fear that once seemed so heavy now appear distant, almost irrelevant. The path you thought you knew has unraveled, revealing something far deeper, something that stretches beyond mere success or failure. What if the real journey was never about the destination, but about the transformation that happens in the silence between steps? In that moment of stillness, when everything fades away, the only thing that remains is the quiet hum of the truth you've just uncovered. It's not the words or the strategies that matter. It's the quiet understanding that there is more to this world than you were ever told. And now, you've seen it. You can never unsee it. The truth, like a seed, has been planted within you, and it will grow in ways you cannot yet comprehend. The moment you stepped into this space, you began to change. But the journey isn't over. It's just beginning. You can already feel it, can't you? The urge to act, to step into a new reality where anything is possible, where your vision becomes your reality. But this change isn't something that can be rushed, nor is it something that others can give to you. It is something you must claim for yourself. As the words fade, the echoes remain, those whispered truths that are now part of you. What will you do with them? Will you walk forward with the same certainty as before, or will you choose to see the world as it could be, not as it is? In the spaces between the words, between the breaths, you've felt it, a shift, a quiet revolution. The old ways of thinking are fading, replaced by something far more liberating. You've stepped outside of the cage, and now you see the world with eyes unclouded. But this is not a moment of triumph. It is a moment of invitation. An invitation to live differently, to think differently, to be different. The door is open now, and it's up to you to cross the threshold. But what awaits you on the other side? Only you can decide. The world is waiting for you to step into your power, to no longer be a spectator in the game of life, but to become the architect of your own fate. And as you stand on this edge, you realize that you hold the key, not just to success, but to everything that lies beyond. The truth you sought has always been within you. You just had to look, to feel, to trust. And now that you know, now that you've seen, the real question is, what will you do with this power? If something inside you stirs, if the vision of what could be feels like a whisper you can no longer ignore, take a moment to reflect. This is your invitation to join a new reality, to embrace the unknown with open arms. Share this with someone who, like you, is ready for change. Because this journey, this transformation is not one you take alone. If this story moved you, if it left you questioning, if it awakened something deep inside you, then subscribe, share, comment, because this is not an end. It is just the beginning.